all for joining Reality Check with Heidi and Brad. Sans Brad. I have stepped in and I'm Claire White. Oh my gosh, wait, I'm not Claire White anymore. I'm Claire Murchison. I'm married. I forgot.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry.
But your handle is the Claire White still.
Right. I keep it, it's my roots, you know.
Yeah.
I got to stay humble to my roots. But I also co-host with Brad on Work Advice for Me, but I have two fabulous people here. Heidi.
Yeah, so I run this with Claire and Brad, even though it's called Reality Check with Heidi and Brad. Claire, we love to have you. We actually missed you last week, but now we miss Brad today, so I'm happy to have you, and we are so incredibly excited to have someone from the floor season 2. Mina, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about you, Mina. Like, what do you do in your real life? Where are you located?
Yeah, totally. So I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm originally from Maine. I think on the show it might say that I'm from both. I think they might have messed up a little bit, but I am from both. So yeah, grew up in Maine. I live in Nashville. I've been here for like 8 years or so. I'm 25. I work at a piercing and tattoo shop. I'm a jewelry stylist. So I help people pick out jewelry all day. Amazing job. I love my job. Yeah, I have 2 cats. I have 2 guinea pigs, and I just have lots of hobbies.
Wait, 2 guinea pigs?
Mm-hmm.
And did you say 2 cats too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I will be highly allergic at your house, but I do love animals, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's a good crew.
That's
Heidi,
awesome.
You would be allergic at my house too because I have 3 cats. I mean, it makes so much sense, Mina, that you have kitties because you're also a Swiftie, which I mean, who isn't these days? Like everyone should, if they haven't gotten on the train yet, like it's leaving the station. You got to hop on.
Yeah, I've been on the train for a very long time, obviously.
I love it.
I mean, based off your duel, I could bet that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that was the only, I believe, so far, perfect duel.
I think it was the first of the season for sure. But yeah, I mean, all I have to say is I saw a comment somewhere on TikTok that said something about like, oh, well, she had plenty of time to study. I'm like, you think I studied? I didn't study. That's the flex. I didn't study.
Yeah.
You had what? Can you tell us what you said when you were first off at the? Okay, before I go into this, at the podium, y'all are all talking to each other, and
Claire hates it.
I hate it. I hate it. My season, like if someone talked, we were like, shut up. Like I'm in the zone. I'm getting in the zone. And y'all are like chatting with each other. Like
they encouraged us to talk. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but they encouraged us to talk.
You know what? Okay, that makes a lot more sense because I was like, this season they're chatty.
Yeah.
Did it not like kind of get in your head that people were talking?
You mean like when you're on the podium and everyone else is talking on the floor?
No, like when people are talking, like you're about to duel and like you told like the person that you dueled that you went to her concert and had floor seats.
Yeah.
And I was like, girl, show her in the duel. Like you don't have to tell her right now.
No, okay, listen. I definitely and maybe okay. I don't know exactly what like possessed me to say that. I think maybe subconsciously I was trying to get in her head because I think it worked because okay, listen, I wanted the Taylor Swift category, obviously, right? And then they didn't give it to me and I was like, why would you not give it to the person who I know everyone's going to think doesn't look like a Swiftie? And then when I saw what they did, I was like, oh, I see now. You wanted me to come out of the woodwork. So I knew immediately, I was like, okay, I have to, this girl seems so nice and I can't like keep a poker face. So I just have to not, she can't know that I'm a fan. She can't know until the last second. And we get up on the podium and Rob's like, how you feeling, Mina? And I was like, I'm feeling so good. And he's like, really? You didn't like strike me as a Swiftie. And she was like, oh my God, are you a fan? And I was like, yes. And I think I wanted like, I don't know. I guess I realized I wasn't going in for a total surprise anymore. And so at the very last second, for context, she hasn't been to the Eras Tour. I live in Nashville, and I was so lucky to day of get row 13. If you're a Swiftie, obviously that's like special, magical. Day of row 13 floor tickets with my best friend, and I'd only ever gone to the Reputation tour.
And was this the tour that it poured rain?
Yes, it was a rain show. Yes. Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And our surprise songs were mine and Coulda, Woulda, Shoulda. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Sorry. Yeah. So needless to say, it was amazing. And so I think I was just like, I kind of wanted to throw in like, listen, it was like I'm a super Swiftie and only she is gonna get that, because I realized, oh wait, I thought that everyone here would want to battle Taylor Swift songs, but turns out there's not a ton of like diehard Taylor Swift songs here, or fans who I guess like, I don't know. It's just in my blood at this point. It's not something I have to think about.
It's a part of your being.
Yeah. Yeah.
So refresh my memory. Was she like next to you? Like you could choose her right from the get-go?
Yeah. So that was like, I got randomized and that was my first battle. And I went back to the floor after that. I had 3 options to choose from. I could have chosen college mascots. I don't know anything about sports. I could have chosen American history. I wasn't battling David. He is so smart. As soon as I met him, I was like, oh yeah, I hope I'm put next to him, but I don't hope I'm put next to him. And it was. And I mean, they put me next to her and I was like, she has no idea what's coming. This poor girl, as soon as I saw that I was next to her, I was like, oof, if I can play it cool so that she stumbles when I'm good, because I am good under pressure. And I knew that going in. I was like, that's my one advantage on the show. I didn't study. That was my secret. I didn't study. I was like, I know what I know. I'm good under pressure and it's going to be what it is. If I can just battle in the freaking Taylor Swift songs category. And I did. So I was like, I don't want to be too confident, but I was like, this poor girl has no idea what's coming. And this is going to be a great moment on TV.
It was epic. It was probably our favorite. I hate to say it to the rest of the floor people because there's a lot of good ones, but that one was epic.
Thank you.
Like, again, it's like, I have a crush and I can't help it. Like, it was so flawless. Like, so I have a question for you though. Since you've been on, like, you've seen the behind the scenes. Like, it's an interesting format of a show.
It really is. Yeah.
I don't know this, but I am convinced that they don't randomize the floor in terms of like how they set it up. I truly believe that they put people next to at least one category that will be a solid duel. And I do believe that the randomizer is random, but they kind of manipulate the free will part.
I mean, I think that's like that's what is smart. Not only does it make for good TV, it's more fun for the players. Like if you don't know any of the subjects around you, like it's not really that fun. Like if you know you're gunning for somebody, like I'm like, okay, I'm gunning for that guy over there and this one next to me, it makes it more fun for everybody, I think. And so I would kind of like, I don't know. I mean, technically there's a lot of things I don't know, but I don't know what I'm supposed to say, what I can say or can't say. But I think it would be smart of them to strategically place people and then have the randomizer be random.
So when they tell you where you're going to be on the floor, how do they do that, right? Like you're number 1 and you go down there. Like, how do they do that for someone that doesn't know how it works?
Yeah, I feel like I can say this, like right before we finally like went into film, they basically gave out like a chart that just showed you each are numbered just 1 to 100 and it shows where everybody is. So they're like, okay, figure out, who's in front of you, who's behind you. We line up by number and then load in. So it was like, we were allowed to, fraternize beforehand. So if you kind of already knew, it was just it didn't have like the everybody's categories, but it had everybody's face. So if you know who that person is, we kind of already knew who had like what categories. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
And do you feel like I want to be friends with them, right? To kind of get to know them, or you're like totally just not becoming friends yet? What was your approach?
So even though I can be really competitive, I've always wanted to go on reality TV. Like I love reality TV. I love competition shows. I love game shows. So this was just like me checking off the number 1 item on my bucket list, right? I was like, there's only 1 in 100 chance that I'm actually going to win. So I'm just going to have, if I can be on 1 episode, check off my bucket list, have an amazing experience, get a free trip to Dublin. That's amazing, right? So I was kind of like, again, I had a lot going on in my personal life. I was like, I'm not going to study. I know what I know. I don't know what the social aspect is going to be like, but all I know is I am like a super people person. I can't help it. I want people to like me. I love people. And I kind of immediately clicked with people faster than I expected. And so I was like, there is no point in me trying to make enemies because what? Am I going to like try to make enemies just to be eliminated on the first or second episode? Like, who knows, you know? So I just kind of let myself have a really good time. And I not to give anything away, but I think I had an emotional roller coaster because of how deeply I bonded with some people, and we might see some of that. We'll see.
Wait, so who are some of your besties from the floor?
Yeah. So
Great question.
David, American History Behind Me.
Okay.
Old man David, he's gonna hate that I called him that, but I call him my
I love him.
grandpa, which he's really like my mom's age, but I never had a grandpa, so the whole thing was like you kind of fill this hole I had. He's so funny. The second I met him, I was like, you were gonna be a cast favorite. He's hilarious. Like he should be a comedian, but he's like a super successful businessman, of course. David, and then there's actually a backup contestant named Colin that I immediately clicked with. He's already come to visit me actually. Yeah, he is a backup, but one of my best friends for sure. And then Keelan periodic tables or periodic
Yeah.
table of elements. Also, we talk like me and Colin and Keelan, like we talk every single day, all day, text, FaceTime. I just talked to Keelan last night. Dave and I talk every week. We have some group chats where I like talk to people every day. I talk to Angie every day pretty much. Kevin, school supplies, a lot of people you kind of haven't seen yet. But
Oh my
honestly,
gosh, school supplies.
sorry, art supplies. It's art supplies.
Art supplies. Okay.
Art
all
Art
right,
supplies,
never
not school supplies, not the influencer. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. American Inventions, we haven't seen him yet. His name's Anand. Oh, that was a tough one. And Star Wars, Mac. Oh my God. Honestly, there's so many people. I'm closer with certain people, but like we have big group chats where we talk like literally on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So I'm a big rambler, but honestly, I really that's what really got me is I was absolutely open to making friends because I love people, but I didn't know it was possible to bond with people that deeply in such a short amount of time. Like it's just you're in a pressure cooker of stress and no sleep and you can't eat because you're so stressed and you're so anxious and it's like feels like the end of the world and you can't say bye to people when they leave and you're crying because you
Yeah.
can't say bye to people and I'm such an emotional person and I was on my period and it was like could it be any worse? I don't think so. I was going through a breakup at home, like literally
gosh.
so many things at once. I had just gotten back from this like massive life-changing work trip, like just so many things. So I was a bit of a mess. But I think it was almost this like forced vulnerability and just really allowed us to bond so quickly. And now I have friends I talk to every day who live all over the place.
But that's awesome.
Mhm.
That is so cool. And like I'm so glad that y'all talked and got to know each other. Like the camaraderie part, you just don't really expect. And one thing that I wish that they didn't change was for us on season 1, after you were dismissed, let go, whatever. I don't know what the right word is.
Eliminated. Axed.
You're eliminated. Your torch was snuffed.
That's
Like-
my show.
I know. You still got to stay at the host hotel. So you had an ending night. Like everyone went to the bar and like had drinks and we cheersed everyone. And like then they made their exit and it felt like closure. And I heard from y'all they have a exit hotel. I hate that.
It was so hard. It was so hard. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
wonder, and I like genuinely wonder if it was because we all didn't still feel like it wasn't as much pressure because we knew we were going to see them when we got back to the hotel. So like I don't know if they were like we need to change it up that people are scared to leave
Mm-hmm.
because they won't get to say bye. And
Yeah.
that makes me just so sad. But I know I'm rambling.
You can feel truly eliminated.
Yes. Yeah. It's like you're like freaking chopped liver at that point. But and it's so sad. But anyway, I know that the people that were eliminated get to bond even more like at the
Mhm.
like hotel before they go to the airport. But by the way, having to pack up all your stuff and take it to the studio
At 6 a.m. and do my hair? What do you mean?
every morning? No,
Yeah.
thank you. No, thank you.
That's hard. Okay,
I
so tell me more. Because like the show I was part of was very different than that. So you get
Survivor.
What
eliminated.
show were you on?
Survivor.
Oh, okay.
So
So I said the torch was snubbed.
yes. And for us, I mean, if you COVID kind of changed the format, but if you get sent home, which I never did, but if you do, then they send you back to the hotel and you hang out with everyone. We call it Ponderosa. It's well known. So, and the best times happen at Ponderosa. So part of the reason of doing that is my family has no idea if I made it far or not because we're all coming back together. So I lied to my family. I didn't tell them. I never told them how far I made it. It made it really more fun because I wasn't sure what they were going to show. So we were all watching it and they were all surprised that I just kept, staying in the show. So you get home, your family immediately knows if you made it the whole time or not. Is that right?
I mean, pretty much. I know. Obviously, I can't say how far I made it, but
Please
I
don't tell us.
the,
We want to watch it.
Yeah. The general vibe was like, oh, not gonna see anyone immediately when I get home, so that no one knows. Like, basically telling everyone, hey, I get back by this date.
Mhm.
Don't contact me before then or ask if I'm home because can't give anything away. So yeah, luckily I don't live in the same state as my parents, and I don't live with anyone. So. But
Okay.
So you
What
were able
about
to
you,
fly
Claire?
under the radar.
Yeah.
yeah.
For me, I'm a yapper. People knew when I was coming home, but I also was really lucky that I made it the entire time.
Hmm.
So, honestly, a lot of my friends thought I won. Because I told them the latest I will. Oh, oh, so cute. We have 3 indoor cats and then 3 cats that live in our backyard. And I'm like, they shouldn't live in our backyard. They should live in our house. And my husband's like, no. But anyway, I told them the latest I will be back, especially for work, is this date. And I came home on that date. And so they were like, you won? And I was like,
you're like, I can't say anything.
yeah, I'm like, you have to wait and see. And then the whole time they were like, this girl's rich, pick up the bar tab. And I'm like, little do you know, I'm not rich.
Yeah.
I don't have 250K. But okay, I know that we're, kind of just rambling. I want to go into the duels, but I do have one last question for sure before we go into it.
Mm-hmm.
With my season, we had 81 people. And we all competed for $250,000 and $20,000 for the largest piece on the board. When we heard that there was going to be 100 players, I thought for sure there was going to be more money. Are you shocked that there wasn't?
Technically, there was a little bit more. I think we had more episodes and therefore more $20,000 winners.
Yep.
The grand prize wasn't any bigger.
Right.
So I think, because I think first season was 10 episodes and we did 12. So there was a couple extra 20Ks.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense because I was wondering, which, by the way, the fact that you guys filmed in the same amount of time, 12 episodes, and we did 10, I feel for you because that means y'all did multiple days of 3 episodes. And the day we. Yeah.
It was a lot.
And it's emotional because they don't start you out with 3. It's in the middle of the it's in the middle of the week and you're burnt out at this point. You need a Red Bull and
you need 5 Red Bulls. Red Bull, there's no amount of Red Bull that is enough.
Literally and a good cry.
Oh, I think that I cried 25 times that week. I've always been a crier. I haven't been as much of a crier the past couple of years. I got it all out. It was that my green eyeliner I'm wearing, I had to get my whole makeup redone one day because I cried off the entirety of my green cat eye. So,
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
no, the crying, it was honestly kind of therapeutic, but it was just, yeah, it was so stressful. I thought I knew what to expect. I could have never, ever, ever expected or anticipated the amount of just the intensity of every emotion. Like,
Yeah.
crazy.
Okay. Do you remember who did your makeup? Sorry, I said it was the last question, but now I'm
Yes. No, I had a special connection with a makeup artist. Her name was Elaine, which is my biological grandmother's name, who I never met, which was cool. On the first
Are you
day,
adopted?
no, my mom's biological mom died when my mom was like 2.
Okay.
But on the first day when we were doing like the hair and makeup to take our headshots, the main makeup guy, he really wanted to do green eyeliner on me. And he was like, had me waiting so he could do it. And he was like, actually, Elaine can do your makeup. So I go over and I did notice Elaine had like she had like her tongue pierced and her septum pierced. And I was like, yes, slay, face piercings. Come to find out, mind you, I work in the piercing industry, right? And like, there's 15 makeup artists here. We're chatting, we're really hitting it off. Oh. Her nails and her shoes, lime green, like my color. Like, we're matching. Like, we're vibing. She was a body piercer for like 12 years.
Aw.
Are you kidding? Yeah, so we just really hit it off, and she was like, I want to put a little sparkle in your face tattoo, and I want to put a little glitter, and I just want you to be fabulous because I just love your vibe. And I was like, I
Aw.
love your vibe. And every day I would request her and I would wait there for her because I was like, nobody else is touching me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's amazing.
I
Go
love
ahead.
that.
Where does the green come from? Is it just something you like, or there's a little history behind it?
So I'll try to make a long story short. Like I said, I am a yapper, but in high school, I started like freshman year of high school. I shaved my head right before I started high school. And then I was like, Mom, can I dye my hair blue? And she was like, hair's temporary. I don't care. Do whatever you want. So I started dyeing my hair every color of the rainbow. Green was the one color I always wanted, but never got it done right. Like, I don't always do it myself and it looked really bad. And then I went to college. I looked super normal for a few years. I thought that I was like destined for corporate America, yada, yada, yada. And then during COVID, I had a pretty cool like influencer marketing agency job. And my boss like was 30 and didn't care if I dyed my hair. So I basically just I was still getting tattoos and stuff, but I looked like pretty normal at the time. And I just like fully just bleached my hair and dyed it lime green one day because I was the color I always wanted. And then I cut it into a mullet. And then at the time, my favorite color was yellow. And then everyone was like, oh my God, you love green. And then I love color coordinating. So I started matching to green. And then I just realized one day that like, just specifically like a chartreuse green, that color just like brings me joy. And I realized, well, if I just love this color, I should just have a lot of it.
Have
And
fun with that.
then it became like I post like casually on TikTok, and then that like color just kind of became like a marker for me, I feel like. And now it just always is the hair color I go back to. I feel good in it. I feel like it's a bright, vibrant, like unique color that like represents me. I like to have a
It's so
signature. So
it's so like electric, which is your vibe.
Yeah.
the hair dye I use is called Electric Lizard.
Ah, of course.
Call me Sherwin-Williams. I knew it. Like literally, that is so good.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed. Well,
Yeah.
I
All right.
love the color.
I did too, for the record. It looks amazing. Just keep having
Thank
fun
you.
with you. All right. I know we've been talking for a long time already, and we haven't talked about the episode. So let me start, and I have notes.
Perfect.
Let me start by saying this. So I think they kicked off this episode 5, and there's already 67 people remaining. It's incredible, right?
They go fast. They go
Yes.
fast. Mhm.
And I think Kara had 13 territories when she started, so she was already
Yeah.
pretty ahead of the game.
She kind of came out of nowhere.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was someone I hadn't met, and so I was like, literally, who is that? Who? Like, I don't
Do we like her?
like as a person.
Yeah.
She seems really sweet. I honestly never got to talk to her very much, but she seems
Okay.
really, really cool. Honestly, there weren't really anyone on like I was surprised out of 100 people. Every single person I talked to, I got along with, and they got along with everybody else. So if I didn't meet
know.
you, I'd probably like you anyway. And I probably
It's
said
like-
hi in the group chat, and we, like
It's wild how there's so many people and you like everyone. So did you watch season 1?
yes. When I interviewed for the show, I hadn't watched it, but by the time I went on the show, I'd watched it 3 times.
Fabulous. Okay, you'll get my saying or my like feeling. And Heidi, you will too, because Brad brought this up. She gives Stephanie vibes to me. Like, she's done a lot of things. She's had a lot of careers, which, by the way, I love Stephanie. She's one of my very dear friends, and we keep up at least once a week. Like, we're all in a, oh my gosh, my cat's eating a flower. I'm so sorry. You can't do that.
So Claire, or Mina, do you think she's lying, that she was lying about all the things she's done? I think she did say quite a few things. I was in school, I did that, I was a teacher for 10 years. There were a lot of things behind that. So do you think she's lying?
I was a little, the only one where I was like, I don't know, was when she was like, I'm a classically trained piano player. I was like, where did that come from? But also, honestly, I mean, like I said, I didn't really talk to her too much, but everyone I met has such an interesting backstory that I wouldn't put it past anyone to have the weirdest mix of stuff in their history.
But like, are you? Are you classically trained piano
I mean, would you believe that I'm a classically trained violin player?
Honestly, yeah. Like,
and that I play trombone?
Even more, yeah.
Is it true?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like I could tell that you were like being honest, and I feel like Cara, not.
I think it's
not,
actually I think
Cara?
it's Kara, because she said Kara and then Rob said Kara.
Oh.
Okay, so Kara,
Kara.
like I feel like she took a piano lesson once, you know,
or maybe she like played in elementary school a little bit.
Right, and at the time, classically trained. Are we Tchaikovsky? Probably not. I don't even know Tchaikovsky is a piano player. So I don't know. I'm up in the air about it, but I feel her, but I'm like skeptical.
I feel like we're gonna find out. I feel like there's probably a little story behind that whenever that comes up.
Well, and that's what's so fun. Even like, I saw everything that happened on stage, but you don't see what happens in people's interviews. So I'm seeing these clips, and they're so funny to me. Seeing what they decide to keep in, and that clip, I guess we'll get there of Allie, the girl who had constellations when they battled in that.
I got everything.
That interview, that made me laugh so hard that they kept that in, because I mean, they were really trying to get us to be competitive, and there were parts where I'm like, girl, I don't feel good about any of these categories. You want me to lie? Like, no, I don't feel good about these.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with number one. We haven't even started. So, number one was Jake against Ali, and that was actually the constellation one. That was the first one. So tell me more about that one. What do you think about that one?
You know, like I said, my strategy was that I didn't study, but I did try to study a couple of categories, and constellations was one that I was like, let me try any of the fixed number of stuff, right? I'm like, there's only so many. I gave up with I gave up. I was like, I'm not going to remember these, so I'm not going to try. Hopefully, I'm not near constellations, and thank God I wasn't, because like he said, he kind of messed up by betting on one, like it being represented a certain way, and that was what I was scared about with a lot of categories.
And Claire, before I pass it to you, I would say one thing. Jake went first, right? And in my head, I'm like, they always put the easiest, most common thing first. So I'm like, Orion, without seeing it. And then he's like, oh, pass. He passed almost every single one of them. I think he knew two of them. But tell us what you thought about that one.
I felt for him, because like, there is nothing. So I went out on TV show locations and I studied sets. Like, I thought there were going to be pictures of sets, not like the words. So when you bank on a category being played a certain way, which is what he did, and I would caution any floor person that's going on the show to never do that unless you have like figured it out for every format. I mean, you're a sucker if you think that you know how you're going to play it. Like, I didn't even know how I was going to play geography.
I didn't know they were going to do Taylor Swift songs.
True.
Like,
Yeah,
you have no idea. Yeah. Compound words?
Oh, I have it here too. We'll get there. All right, let me go to number two. So Ali, Jake, I said that and I'm gonna repeat it. So Jake, I'm pretty sure he got only like 2 of them. He passed a lot. That was a really tough one to watch. I felt for him. So then Ali went back to the floor, and then we got Emily, and she picked Kara. I don't know. And that was the one compound words. So that, yeah, I'm with you. I put here love that one because that was the images one. I loved it. So
Yeah.
tell us more.
I mean, I love word game. I would love, like, I really wanted to play any of the word game categories, acronyms, compound words. Like, I'm kind of like a grammar, like, word nut, I guess. I love the word games. You know, we do have, by the way, a floor, like, New York Times games chat. But yeah, no, I thought I think the categories like that are kind of puzzly are really clever because it's like, can you think on your feet? Really? It's not even a matter of what do you know? Are you just like, can you put the pieces together? But it's hard. That's a hard style of game.
Well, and on those, you know that on your first one, you're gonna lose a couple of seconds because you're figuring out how to play it.
Right on.
And so being the challenger, you're at kind of a disadvantage because if I were the opponent, I would look and see how you're playing it. Like that way I know what to expect, what kind of game it is. So the challenger naturally is at a disadvantage.
So what? Oh, I see your point. Because you're already prepping yourself to see what it is.
Yep, because your opponent doesn't see what you see.
Yeah.
Unless you look at the big board.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no one take that piece of advice because if I get called on an All-Stars, I'm using that.
Yeah. You know what?
Okay, so we're all rooting for Floor All-Stars. Heard that.
Yes, absolutely.
And if you know what, I'm just putting this out to the universe. If Rob Lowe doesn't want to host, call me. Call me. I used to host trivia.
You do this.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, love it so much.
As long as they give you the $250 to host and then someone to play. Like,
I'm ready. I got a green version of the jumpsuit I wore on the show. I'm ready. I have my outfit. We're good to go.
Yes.
You just need a ticket.
Yeah.
Well, they need to pay her. Ask them to pay you quite a good money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, Kara, I mean, hopefully I'm saying that right. She inherited musical instruments. So that's when she started saying, you know, I've been classically trained in piano or whatever. So I am with all of you. I think we're going to find out a little bit more about that whenever she comes back. And she has a big territory. So, you know, it's bound to come back.
Oh yeah, you can't hide for long when you start getting. I mean, that's part of the strategy. Arguably, I went back to the floor. Well, one, I was like, there was not a single category I feel better about than the one that I have. So why the hell would I give that up? But also, like, no one's gonna come for me if I have 2 squares and I'm next to Angie. I'm so protected. David doesn't want to fight me in accessories. Holly doesn't want to fight me in accessories, and I don't want to touch them.
I want to talk about that. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. You know, it's funny watching after season 1 because we're getting there, but I can't remember her name, but she was like, I saw a lot of people going back to the floor on season 1 and I'm staying up there and, you know, fighting for all the floor, which is great. But in my mind, I was like, we walked so you could run, but okay. But with that mentality, like if you didn't watch season 1, you wouldn't understand that, like, if you go for the big piece early, 9 times out of 10, actually for my season, 10 times out of 10, you're gone.
Yeah. Well, even just like probability wise, like statistically, the odds are so stacked against you unless you're close enough to the 20 grand.
And late enough in the episode.
Yes, exactly.
You shouldn't be going after the big piece early. Because someone could come after you and snake that 20K. So it's just like, it's all strategy. I don't understand why people are going for the big piece. I'm like, let her just like live there and block some people.
I mean, if it's a case of like say if I was like early on and I was and there was a big square, but it was a category where I like felt 100% confident that I would win, maybe I'd go for it for the sake of like, if I don't feel as confident about any of the other categories, might as well, you
Yeah.
know, go for a good show, right?
Yeah.
But no, I would say most of the time it's yeah.
Especially, I feel like once you get even almost like, so y'all have 12 episodes, even past 4, you're close enough to the 250 that it might not be worth risking it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so early, it's like, okay, I might as well just get some money because I've been picked early.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like, I mean, I get it, but I cannot wait to see what happens because
Mhm.
I would put money that Kara, she gets out.
I am well, I'm so excited to see how it's edited, but I can't wait for you guys to see what happens.
Okay. I cannot wait.
It only gets better from here. Like, in my opinion, this was a fire episode, but it is getting like next week. Oh my god, the waterworks, they're already coming. Like, I saw the preview and I started tearing up. Like,
Oh, I
it's gonna
cannot
get so
wait.
crazy.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I didn't see the preview. We've been
Oh.
like trying to not watch them. So okay, I have to go
Well,
back.
just like it, no, it didn't show anything crazy. I just know what happens.
Oh,
Like even
okay.
just literally like the duels, and of course I'm getting emotional like thinking about like there are some duels that come up where it's like two of my favorite people, and whichever one goes home, I will sob, and I did. I
Wow.
cried on the floor so many times.
Here's the thing, though.
And you know
Um,
they're gonna show it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't. I think I was already crying. I
Oh,
shed a
and they
couple
haven't
tears
shown-
over some people at this point already.
I don't think they show you crying.
No,
least
no,
not
they
yet.
haven't
Yet.
shown me much, but I'm interested. There's at least one that I have a feeling because it was a big sob, but I can't give anything away. So
Okay.
Well, so I've been kind of softly watching the previews because they give too much, and I try.
they
not to-
do.
Yeah,
they give
I'm like,
spoilers.
you just spoil it for me. I don't want to know, So I've been softly watching the previews.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I cannot wait. Okay, let's move on. We're only on 3. All right. So then number 3 was Ryan, and please correct me if I'm saying this right. Spiro.
Yeah.
So Ryan and Spiro, and their
such a good
category
battle.
was baseball logo, and
was good.
the part that was like a twist, which I knew they had to do something like that, was major leagues, but also minor leagues, because major leagues is a finite number and it's a small number, and they killed it, both of them. So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts, Mina, on that one?
I mean, I know actually a lot of people wanted to play that category. So any category where a lot of people wanted to play, I was always excited when the battle was so good.
Mhm.
Like, and just like me with Taylor Swift, like I love a little don't judge a book by its cover moment. So Ryan, he's like, no one would expect me to be into baseball. And I'm like, period king. That's like, it's same vibe. And I loved him. He had such good energy. He had the most amazing shirt. I loved him so much. And Spiro was so cool.
Aw.
Spiro
Yeah.
was so chill. And
Uh-huh.
like when he said that he was from Naperville, Illinois, like my boss and my best work friend are from Naperville. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like they literally could not be more similar. And then like Ryan, the sparkles
Yeah.
on his shirt. I was like,
Yes.
I love you. I love you.
Yeah.
Like, and so yeah, I was rooting for him.
For
I was
Ryan?
rooting for Ryan.
Well,
yes.
it was hard because he was the first one that got the minor leagues, so he got stuck there. I think if he would have been on the other side, right? It
Yeah.
probably would have turned, like it would have been different.
Totally. I agree. It would have been
He
different.
he went out on Portland Sea Dogs, which is Portland, Maine. That's like one of the only teams that's the only minor league team that I know. And my brother texted me and was like, I can't believe he lost on Sea Dogs. And I was like, we're from Maine, Griffin.
I had no
Wait,
idea what it was.
Your brother's name is Griffin.
Mhm.
That's like literally one of my favorite names.
My mom basically picked it because she really liked the sound of it, and it wasn't super common.
I am obsessed. Yeah, love it. Love it.
Yeah, I'll keep going. So Spiro won that battle, and then he inherited cooking. So he made some cute comments, but it wasn't like, I'm classically trained in piano. It was more like, well, I have good. I can't remember exactly what he said, but
And then he said his wife cooks, and I'm like, so what you're saying is you don't cook.
Yeah, but it was cute. Whatever he said, I was like, oh, that's cute. Anybody can do cooking. Let's be honest here. Cooking could be anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, number 4. So then we had Grace. And
Grace was so fun.
she
Yeah.
picked Kelly, and Kelly was the one that said she does silk. So that was the one that they had circus as the topic. So Mina, what do you think about that one?
I was really excited to see that. I knew that Kelly was an aerialist. She was
Okay.
one of the first people I met, and I mean, I loved her. I saw her with that rogue streak, and I was like, "Who are you?" And she's super sweet. She's so funny. She has a really cute kid. And just the rainbow sweat. I was like, "You're giving art teacher vibes." Like that was her energy. And Grace, I didn't talk to as much, but she was cool. And that whole, I mean, I was shocked that Kelly lost, to be honest. But the
It
safety
was
net,
close. What was that?
the safety net.
Oh
I had beef
yeah.
with the safety net. There were
I
some
guess
that they put in that I'm like, it's giving tailgating battle where there are some questionable ones.
I kept saying safety net though. I saw it. I'm like, safety net.
Okay. Okay.
Net?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But my husband was like, no way. And then he's like, safety net. And I was like, there you go. So it looked a little weird.
Mhm.
Grace is the person I'm talking about.
I know.
We walked so you could run, Grace. So the shade you're giving, I'm not into. But I will say she made great TV. The way that she knew parade, my husband and I both were like, parade? Like, I would have never thought that ever in my entire life. I was like, the picture that is on the cookie box. Like,
Oh yes, that's right.
Like-
That's what I thought too. I was like, cookies,
parade.
animal cookies.
Animal parade. I was like, okay, she deserves to win this, but it's fine. But Kelly, so cute. Like,
So-
Yeah. Kelly's
her-
adorable.
her sweater like fit circus. Like that was so like on brand. Like, yeah, that was great. I thought that
Oh my
was
god! And you know
really
what's
fun.
so cute? Okay, first of all, going back to Friends on the Floor, college mascots Holly in front of me. She lives in Nashville, 5 minutes down the street from me. I pass her apartment every single day on my way to work, and we'd never met before. We
That's
flew
awesome.
3,000 miles across the ocean to meet in Dublin, and she is 0.9 miles away from me. We've had some watch parties together, and we've gone out
Amazing.
together before. But she told Kelly how much she loved her sweater, and we had to have 2 copies of whatever outfit we had. And after Kelly went home, Kelly left one of the sweaters for Holly in the lobby because she liked it. And so now Holly's like, this week was like, wearing Kelly's sweater.
That's so
I-
sweet.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So one of my friends on the floor, Lindsay, has my second dress. So like that's just so awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Do
Well,
you still have the original one, Claire?
oh yeah, I wear that bad boy all the time.
So you
And I have
to-
it in 3 prints because it is just a really cute dress and it's flattering and you can move. So, I mean, like when you find something like that, you just have to get it in every color.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me with the jumpsuit that I wore.
Yeah, exactly. You
So I
get
just
it.
got it green.
Yeah.
Well,
All
okay,
right.
so R.I.P. Kelly, but who was next?
All right. Next, so Grace stayed on the floor, or I should say on the podium, and she picked Tommy, who had ocean animals. So they
Yeah,
Tommy.
Tommy.
Yeah. He was the one that was going like that, like the little, and I'm doing the dolphin jump or whatever.
We've been calling him the internet's boyfriend.
Um,
But I don't know if you guys know, the internet's boyfriend, Tommy, his girlfriend was also on the show.
No.
What?
Yeah, and I didn't know that other people knew they were a couple. I didn't know they were a couple. She's Shakespeare in the blue dress. Beautiful. They're so beautiful together. They're like, oh, my friends were like, oh my God, Tommy's so hot. And I was like, hold on, that's his girlfriend. And they're like, oh my God, she's so hot. I'm like, yeah.
So when they open about that to the people on the floor?
I think so. I believe that they were like cast knowing they were a couple and they were put kind of close to each other. So
And-
I didn't know that because I didn't talk to them too much, but I believe that was known.
and in season 3, there is another couple
Yeah.
as well. Like
heard
We had a set of twins too. They haven't gone over that yet, but we have a set of twins on
On season
Season
2?
so
Yeah.
interesting.
yeah.
Because
They bring it up, so I think I can say that because they were cast like as twins.
Do they look alike?
Once you see them, yes, but they are dressed so differently that I would never have known until they pointed out, and I'm like, oh, oh, you are twins, but like totally different senses of style.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't
There's
wait.
a little bit of strategy there, though. Like, if I can tell that there's a couple or siblings, like, you want to break them up. I mean, maybe that's the player in me, because Survivor is such a backstabbing game.
But also,
But,
don't you kind of want to see them duel each other?
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
You know, like
But-
Tommy versus Talia, it would be tragic, but it would be great.
But I feel like they would help each other, though.
So that's where I'm like,
But someone has to lose.
But at the end, like, stay, like, if my husband and I were to go on the floor, let's make it really far, but let's not go against each other, and then I'll beat you at the end. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I would keep, I mean, like, I would beat my husband at trivia, I think. But anyway, but I would want to keep him around
Yeah.
so that, like, our chances.
Doubling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, if I won, what's his, well, if he won, what's his is mine. And then if I won, what's mine is mine.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. We get you.
Yeah. So,
So that one, Grace and Tommy, I don't know if you guys remember, but it went down to 1 second. That was so hard to watch.
The fact that it was Dugong of all things, because he'd said Dugong the manatee, and then it was it crushed me.
Yes.
I know. And, like, were y'all freaking out seeing the time?
Yes.
Yes. Like, I was freaking out watching it. I was like, 1 second. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, oh man. I thought that was a great duel.
It
And
was such a good
great.
duel.
not that Grace got lucky. Like, I don't think that she got lucky by any means, but that was a very lucky pairing of two people who truly did know, like, the animals. Like, they picked out some things that I was like, I would have never guessed that. In the,
Or when they showed like crab, and he was like blah 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 crab, and it was just crab, and I was like,
just say the generic word. Except for, that's the thing. Sometimes you know that they're going to take generic, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
mhm,
So,
mhm.
like, you know, what's crazy is I hate going back, but the baseball teams, I thought they wasted a lot of time saying LA
city.
Dodgers. And I'm like, Dodgers. Like, just be short and sweet.
I
And-
don't know. There were a couple of them when they put the descriptions, they had the cities and the names. So I was a little confused by that, because I'm pretty sure they had some of them that had longer names than that.
Yeah. It's so, it's not honestly very clear. Like,
Yeah.
And it's technically like, even if you just get one that has a really long name, you're technically already kind of at a disadvantage, because
Yeah.
it physically
Slower.
take longer to say the name, you
Yeah.
know.
yep,
Yeah.
I felt
It's-
that way in
yeah.
acronyms.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I was like,
I mean, even like
takes
going back
longer.
to like the Taylor Swift duel, when there's a song title with a longer name, it takes you longer to read it. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's anything that's reading the picture ones, like stuff like that. It just takes longer.
Longer. Yeah.
for sure.
So anyway, Grace, it was an interesting one, because she became, to me, as someone that doesn't know Grace and I'm just watching as a fan, I saw her and I was like, she's a little cocky at the beginning, but then at the end she started softening up a little bit, saying like, oh my God, I never thought Clam would save me, or whatever the comment was about clams. So at that moment it became a little softer, like she can understand that. I don't know, it just became human when she said those comments to me.
You know,
It was-
when
yeah.
she
Yeah.
became human to me in the next duel.
Oh, so she picked Corey, but that's because she loses.
I still felt like that clam comment was a little cocky, but like, also, I don't, if she listens, I don't want you to think I'm ragging on you by any means, Grace. I'm gonna give you some grace. That there is something about being under the hot lights that gives you, like, it's either you're gonna play it safe, or you're gonna, like, just be tenacious. And she took the latter, which, like, good for her. That was her game.
Yeah,
I can't be
strategy.
upset that, like, that's what she did, because it just was not what I would do. So, like, I might be ragging on it. I don't mean that. in a bad way. I just have to put it out there.
Yeah, but if
But I
it's his
respect the
strategy,
game.
own it. Like Grace,
Yeah.
if you're listening, own it, because that's part of the strategy. I feel like, listen, as long as you have a strategy, you're better than some of the people that didn't have a strategy.
Absolutely.
So
Yep.
yeah. And then
Okay,
she
so
picked
who?
Corey.
Yeah.
She picked Corey, and Corey, they showed his little clip about his life. He was saying something along the lines of, I had a rough life, I grew up having a rough life. I don't want to say he didn't have a home or something, but he said something along those lines. And it makes you love him right away. As soon as you hear that, you're cheering for him. And in my opinion, he killed it. So
Yeah.
it was coming of age movies, right? So he killed that one. What are your thoughts, Mina?
I love Corey. Corey, also one of my favorites. Like, I made a little Instagram post because I brought like a film camera with me and I took selfies with, I wish I had photos with everybody, but I was like, I have some, I gave up my seat for somebody on the way back and I have some American Airlines credit. So I'm like, baby, I'm using my American Airlines credit to come see you in Beverly Hills because love you. But poor Corey started off on the worst note. Airline lost his luggage. They gave him money. He had to go buy a new outfit in Dublin.
I didn't have underwear. I mean, it was my luggage was lost for 7 days. It came on the 8th day. And then I turned around and left. Like, it was so stupid. American Airlines, man, like, I have beef. Serious beef.
Yes, I will only be flying them again because I have flight credit. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah. But yeah, Corey, they lost his luggage and he was playing the game. There's people that, are super open, we click immediately. And then there's people where you're like, I'm not so sure about you. He was telling everybody something different. Although I was like, okay, I think he does like me because what he told me was the truth. Because he was telling everyone different things about what he was going after. And then, what's also funny about the whole, like, my whole kind of thing being about Taylor Swift is not only did that surprise people, that a lot of people, when I bonded over that, like, he was like, oh my God, my boyfriend, like, turned me into a Swiftie and, like, this and this and this. And so once he opened up, I was like, oh, I love Corey. But Corey is really playing the game. Corey, yeah, he had strategy. He was studying his butt off. Like, and also he was just like, he's into a lot of stuff. He's another person who I'm like, oh, you're a nerd about this, you're a nerd about that, you're a fan of this, you're a fan of that. You know a lot of different things. You prepared for this, you were ready, and he still had time to make friends.
Yeah.
The fact that he was so open after the battle of like, I am going to Star Wars. I was like, you are kind of a jack of all trades, and I'm very into it. You know what else I'm also very into? Whoever does his lips, because they look phenomenal.
They're perfect. They're perfect. I mean, he has a great face, period, but yes.
I saw
I have to watch again.
I saw them and I looked at my husband and I was like, those are some of the best lips I've ever seen. Like, I mean, ever. So, you know what? I'm assuming, sorry, they might be God-given. But now, knowing he lives in Beverly Hills, I'm pretty sure they're not. So, Corey, if you're listening, whoever your injector is, call me. Let me know.
Drop the link.
So that one actually was a close one too. They had 3 seconds left at the end for that one.
That was really good.
So
Yeah.
that was a really good one. But he chose to stay on the podium. And this is where I wanted to, you ladies were saying something earlier. You all were saying something earlier about strategy and all that. He picked Julianne, and I could see now that I saw that he was good at the wrestlers, why he would go for that. Similar to maybe you, Mina, you probably would have gone for Taylor Swift, even if she had half of the floor. But at the time when I saw it, I was like, you're putting a target on your back. Don't do it. Like, if you're going to go for big, go for the money. Don't go for big just to go for big. But then I saw how much he killed it. So I could see maybe he knew he was going to be comfortable with that topic. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that one?
I think for like one, like you said, like he was trying to get to Star Wars. 2, he knew wrestling like the back of his hand. And he also, I mean, Julianne has been killing it, but she also got pretty lucky a few times with her opponents.
Yes.
Every
And
time.
she's not the fastest competitor.
Correct.
And so I think Corey is probably like, I know everything about this. I bet even if Julian's been studying, she doesn't know as much as me, and I'm going to be faster than her. I bet that's what he was thinking.
1,000%. I was like, if anyone wants to take her out, they just have to be faster.
Mhm.
Like, she is a smart woman, did pretty well. I will say, I agree with you, Mina. Incredibly lucky.
But he can choose to just go back to the floor and not put a target on his back and just stay in his tiny island. Let him go after him. Maybe he just didn't feel comfortable with. I think it was Pop Stars, that the one that he was inheriting before that. I'm just like questioning the strategy behind it. Other than maybe uncomfortable, but now he has a target on his back. So
What-
I think I'm gonna go for him.
I think he felt confident enough in like knowing stuff that he really is like, because I mean, we don't know what happens, right? I think he's like, I really think I can get to Star Wars if I just keep battling. I can battle
Mhm.
all the way there, no stops.
Yeah.
Like I think that he was just really confident, and honestly, like he kind of had every reason to be. Like you can never be too confident, but like he knew what he was talking about. He knew his stuff. He was studying his ass off, and like I think he was just like, I think I can book my way to Star Wars. You know?
Yeah.
Well, and I like genuinely believe, based off season 1, like you should not. Okay, I'm trying to explain. I don't know if I'm going to do well. Like 2 big pieces should not be like this. I think that he is smart going under and up. Like, which, I mean, it's brilliant because you're kind of locking Kara in.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
which you want to do. Like, you kind of want them to be pinned, but also be attacked from a different side. So I think I think he was being smart.
Well, I mean, at the time, I just told you what went through my head, but he won that one and he stayed. He stayed on the podium, right? So he went for the boost, the time boost. So he picked Ronald. I think his name was Ron Griffin, and they went for carnival food, and I love that one because there were a lot of good choices on that one. So I feel like anybody could have done carnival food.
I couldn't believe Ron didn't know funnel cake.
I know that would have been my first one. I said how I would have said Orion for the constellations. I would kept saying funnel cake, and then he got stuck with funnel cake.
Y'all, I got salmonella from a funnel cake, so like I will
What?
never not know a funnel cake.
Oh wow!
But the fact that he did not know, and I was like, and you had carnival foods, my friend, like we should have Googled and maybe image searched like some stuff. But that was sad. That was sad. But and it was the right person won.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
actually, that is the very last one, and he got the time boost. So maybe
Yes,
part
he
of his
did.
strategy is I'm gonna take some floor, do the pinning that Claire was talking about, get my time boost, and my guess is that he goes back to the floor. But we're gonna have to watch next week.
Well, also, because you mentioned wondering if he doesn't feel good about pop stars, I think he feels good about pop stars, and that's another reason why he's like, yes, I'm taking territory, but who's going to challenge me in something I feel good about?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my gosh. Also, my mom, or not my mom, my husband, had me going back. This is 2 episodes ago, but speaking of pop stars, to when someone didn't know Billie Eilish and Ryan's reaction. He had me replay that. We replayed it like 5 times. I mean, he was howling laughing. Like
It was the Gen Z category. I
Yes.
was like, oh, you're kidding. I was like, what the heck is the
I
Gen Z
went
category? Is it
through
going to be
all
like
of them.
TikTokers? No, it was even easier. It was
was
just pop
easier.
stars.
The
It was
only one I
easier.
didn't know was Gayton at the end.
I don't think I could have remembered his last name, but I'm like, that's the Stranger
Yeah.
Things kid.
Yes, that's what I
Yeah.
said. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, well, Mina, thank you so much for hopping on with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Like, you're just a ray of sunshine and everything electric.
Can I tell you guys just a small world story that has nothing to do with what we were talking about my experience on the floor?
Yeah.
Please.
Okay, get this. Just a fun fact before we go. So I crochet. A little bit of background about me. I've been crocheting for a couple years, and so they told us, hey, basically, you're not supposed. If you're a cast member, you're not supposed to know anyone from production. So if you see a crew member that you think you somehow recognize from real life, don't even talk to them. Don't like act like you know them. You're not supposed to know them. So a couple days in, I see this girl, and I'm like, I know, like, I don't know how, but I know, I feel so confident I know that girl that I can't talk to her because I'm positive that I know her. Like, I think we went to the same college. Like, I just recognize her. Like, I feel like I've talked to her before. And a couple days later, I'm like, who is this girl? I can't figure it out. I'm even texting my friends, like, I think there's a girl from like Belmont here, but like, I can't figure out who she is. No. So, like I said, I crochet, also very much addicted to TikTok. I crocheted based off, so I follow this one like small crochet TikToker who designed this granny square like crocheted hoodie, which I followed that pattern and made one. That girl is that girl. That girl who I follow on TikTok, whose pattern I followed to make a piece of clothing, was on the crew, and she was there, and I was like, I saw her we're at the bar, and I saw her walk past in her crochet hoodie, and I was like, oh my God, I know who that is. That's what Morgan makes. I literally, and then I was like, okay, how do I talk to her? So, because I really, I didn't actually know her. And so she was checking us. We were getting on the bus one day, and she was checking us in. And I was like, this is my opportunity. And I was like, hey, is your name Morgan? And she was like, yes. And I was like, this is crazy. This is literally insane. Because, like, also, I think she's American. So she wasn't one of the, like, Irish
Yeah.
people who was there. I was like, I follow you on TikTok, and I followed your crochet hoodie pattern, and I made one. Here's mine. And she was like,
Incredible.
that's so crazy.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
awesome. That is
Yeah.
so good. So
What a
Mina,
small world.
if someone wants to follow you, tell them where they can follow you.
Oh yes, I'm addicted to the internet. I'm all over the social medias. You can follow me on TikTok if you like self-expression content is what I call it. I post about like piercings, tattoos, hair, clothes, whatever. My handle is milk friendly. And then same thing on Instagram, milk friendly _. I just post about my life. Oh, if you want to follow my like piercing jewelry styling account, it's Cosmic Chartreuse on Instagram.
Thank you.
I love it. Well, Mina, you are seriously a delight. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Heidi, I'm so excited to see who we have next week.
Oh my God.
Are you guys
I'm
having
so excited.
another contestant?
We're doing it every week.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Quick little recap. Tell your
Yes.
friends.
Cool.
And
I
I
can't wait to see it. I
wait.
can't wait to watch.
We may
Yeah.
ping you. We may ping you after we see you crying.
Oh, you have my number. Call me anytime.
Thank you so much, Mina. Claire, it was fantastic. Thank you for sharing the podcast and the podium with me today.
Oh, Heidi, you are just incredible. You keep me on track.
Well, I don't know if time
Yeah.
track, but we kept on track with each of the
Yeah.
duels today.
We got through. But thank you guys for listening, and tune in next week on who we get to speak with after the floor recap with Reality Check.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.